look, this is very interesting. You see, just go back to that town square. You see, this is called the Breadcrumb Trail. You notice there's no mini-map. So when you want to move on with the story, you just have to follow this breadcrumb trail. So we're going to totally, the story wants us to go here, but we're going to totally ignore that now. There is a region we're going to go into now. Bowerstone is a very, very big place, and at the very start of the game, when you're you start as a little kid. When you start as a little kid, you're given this choice to help out one of the sheriffs or to hinder one of the sheriffs. And what it is, the sheriff has got 5 warrants he has to find, arrest warrants that he has to find. If you find those 5 warrants for him and give it to the sheriff, then crime will be eliminated in Bowerstone. So all the criminal elements will be eliminated for a while. And this is what's happened here. And then this region would be very, be very nice, and it's a nice cute region. We'll just change the time of day so you can see it nicely. So this is like more of a trading district. But if you decided to give those arrest warrants to the criminal element, then the whole of this region, all of the houses in it would be very different. It would be a slum, there'd be criminal elements all around. So it's not just small things that change, it can be the whole complete region that can change. Those regions are very, very dynamic. And we've got poor Sam into terrible trouble here because he's killed off that guy who was aggravating him. And because he's committed this crime, he either has to pay 250 gold, well he's cheated and he's a millionaire at the moment, so if you can't pay the gold, you have to do community service. And the worse your crime, the bigger the community service. Or if you want to, if you really are one of those people that want to go and slaughter every single person within this town, you can actually do that, and it's one of the biggest battles. We'll say community, or pay the fine actually. But you're still going to be, you've still got all those evil points just blowing off. So I think people find this really interesting, really fascinating to play around with the world, to see what happens, to see how the world changes depending on whether they're good and evil. And what's so interesting as well is it's not only what you do in the world that changes the world there. You've got to turn safety on because everyone's so scared now. They're actually just running away.
Kill the kid?
It's not only to change the gameplay for yourself, it's not only how you are, whether you're good and evil, but there's also things like what you invest in. For example, because you can buy any of these buildings here, some buildings that you buy unlock completely new quests. For example, there is it's one of my obsessions is, I've played lots and lots of games, and it just seems to me is that I go to, these huge castles and these big dungeons, and I like questing through them, but I want to own them. Because I love being rich and wealthy and powerful. Why not own them? Allow the player to own everything. So every building you see, you can own, including this huge castle. Now, a lot of action takes place in that castle. There's lots of secret chambers. We'll go to that castle now. You can own that castle. Once you own that castle, you are known as the Lord of Bowerstone.
How much should the castle be?
The castle is millions. In fact, if you add up everything in the world, it's about 25 million gold. So if you don't treat your wife or husband well, they can also divorce you.
What?
And if they divorce you, then at least half your money goes on trust.
Well, you can kill them and take the money back.
Pardon?
You can kill them and take the money back.
You can. That is, if you do it right, she says, I'm thinking of doing divorce. you can take her on a little trip out into the woods, and maybe she has some terrible accident. Make sure you don't do it in front of any guards, because if you do it in front of guards, then you still lose the money, because we're cheating so much that you can hear the poor AI is trying to keep up with all his cheats, which is very difficult. Right, so this woman is following me now. Wherever I go, it doesn't matter if I can take her through the entirety of the game with me.
Interesting.
So, for example, she's someone who is really worth marrying. By the way, the rich. If you go to this is where the rich people live. If you marry someone who's very rich, they'll have a dowry. That's how you can earn money. You can become a gigolo. You can go out. You can marry someone, take him or her into the woods and kill them, and then go back and marry them. If you're very, very skillful, you can have multiple wives or husbands throughout the land. But I don't recommend it, because remember you have to pay. You have to keep upkeep. One of the people back at Lionhead kept marrying people and moving them into caravans and on hovels, so he didn't have to pay a lot.
Is it true that if you have multiple partners, there's a certain disease that you can get?
We do support sexually transmitted disease. It is part of life. Unfortunately, you can from shops buy protection, and if you don't wear that protection, then you're more likely to unfortunately contract these things. It's it's the way of life, I'm afraid. But the only thing I'd say is, this is a very nice place to be. We can also go to another city called Bloodstone, which is like the evil city, where you're much more likely to pick up.
I'm just curious, is there a mature content filter in the game?
This is a mature rated game.
Okay, so
but I think the interesting thing about it is the vast majority of people who play this game will never ever see the mature content. The reason it's mature rated is because we allow you to do these things. If you're someone who goes out, who does, I'll say the words, have sex out of and not be married, then you are more likely to get that. But the vast majority of people will not do that. Just like here, if you're someone who takes your sword out, you have to go and you have to turn something called safety off, and only then can you kill innocent people. So I think of Fable as being, we are just the designers and we've given you the ability to do this. It's a reflection of you, if your world is evil and if you're killing innocent people. That's where the rating is so difficult. It's not like a film where everybody sits down and watches the same film. Because this world is unique to you, then I think it's very unique.